We also saw Israel with a really, really weird Scizor, Seismitoad, Yveltal, Garbodor deck, losing to Dylan Bryan. I think he was trying to try out something new, and when you try out something new against Dylan Bryan, it's not gonna end well. Uh, Dylan's definitely gonna so the first round, the players don't have their deck list, the other people's deck list. That only happens for the semis, and I really wish we could have seen Dylan's face when Israel was playing down all these Pokemon, because it's definitely a very weird deck. Something I hope was going to be good, but couldn't actually get the win against Dylan. So, let's see. We have, going to Dylan's deck, he's actually playing Night March with a Goomy, of course. And yeah, it's a simple Night March deck with a Trick Shovel, a Goomy, a Fairy Energy, so you can attack with Goomy. Yeah, he just wanted to get him. Protect the Prince with Goomy, I guess. I think Goomy's second attack is one Fairy and one Water, deal 20. I would have loved. I'm gonna love if he actually gets to use this attack off for the rest of the tournament. I'm gonna go crazy. And then we have Brandon Cantu. He's also playing Night March, but his is more of a standard Night March. The thing that's kind of different for me is he plays 3 Bicycle instead of 3 Acrobike. There's actually no Acrobike in the list at all. So it's very different to see, because you usually play Acrobike because it gets you a card and it discards possibly a Night Marcher for you. Or Bike relies on having a low hand size, drawing until you have 4. So both are really good, but they're really different from each other, even though they're both Bicycles. And there is no Goomy in this deck. Kind of wants to try to beat Dylan. But Brandon did end up losing to Ryan Sablehouse, who was playing basically straight metal with Seismitoad in it. Not to be confused with his brother Kyle, who is playing Klinklang. This metal list also plays a Dialga and 2 Seismitoads, and a thicker Bronzong line by, 1 Bronzor. He also plays Steel Shelter instead of the Skyfield. Steel Shelter is a really good card this format, I think. Really underlooked, too. Being able to stop lasers and kick their Verbank out is really important. And yeah, those are the decks. So we're going to see Russell now. He's piloting the good old Donphan. Trying to make Donphan a thing again. Him and Dylan brought this deck to the forefront of the metagame a while ago. Then it kind of died off. It did win in Mexico Nationals, I believe. And it does have access to a bunch of good cards. It plays Aegislash, plays a Sigilyph and a Wobbuffet. Hawlucha seems really good right now. And it's also really good against all those Manectric decks and stuff like that. Robo Substitute's a really good card, as we saw last week with Dylan decking people out just by benching Robo Substitutes. Focus Sash is also a really nice card if you're not playing against Crobats. And unfortunately for Russell, I think he's going to have a hard time because he is playing Squeaky Marking. And Squeaky is playing Raichu Crobat. So you would think a deck with Raichu would be bad against Donphan, but as long as you just have the 4/3/3 Crobat, it's a really hard time for Donphan to win. He also plays Leafeon, which is a really good insurance policy when Donphan's trying to build up enough energy to wreck. and you can one-hit them with your Raichus and stuff like that, even though you get one shot. It's a very trade-oriented match if they hit all their Lysanders. But Crobat is going to be a huge MVP, I think, in this match coming up. And it's actually... So, last week we had 8 different decks. This week we have 7 different decks, and 2 of the metal decks are basically the same. But one's Kling Klang and one's regular. So, yeah, I'm excited to see Russell versus Squeaky. I'm going to get this set up soon. I'm going to mute the mic real quick, try